What is up, everybody? It is yours truly, the Lasagna Man, and we have Connor with us as usual. How's it going, Connor?
Oh man, bittersweet day, right? Bittersweet day in Yankee land.
Yeah, the headline kind of got stolen from us there a little bit, but yeah, man. So a lot's been going on. We haven't done a show in a little bit. We were kind of waiting for stuff to start rolling. We don't do this show every day, every week. And as most people know, it's been somewhat of a slow offseason for the Yankees until, the last couple of days. So I texted Connor earlier today. I'm like, hey, we got some stuff to talk about. Should we do a little video or something? He's like, yeah, let's do it. So, and then right before we get on here, we got some Freddie Peralta news drop in. So a lot going on. Some of the big names are off the table. A lot of the names that Yankee fans have been throwing around. Wishing for some position players, some pitchers, relief pitchers. I mean, there's just been a lot of players that we've kind of been thrown around for months that signed elsewhere. We got Bellinger back today, which is essentially running things back a little bit. So we'll start there. Bellinger was sitting on, I think, about 5 years, 150, 160 offer from the Yankees for a while. He was shopping elsewhere, looking at the Mets possibly. There was some rumors about maybe the Phillies, maybe the Mariners, until yesterday Luis Robert gets traded to the Mets, and all of a sudden leverage kind of goes back to the Yankees there, since the Mets were kind of rumored to be the closest team in on him. Also, the Blue Jays were kind of rumored, but it kind of felt like the Yankees were in the driver's seat for a while, and I think they knew that. So what was your initial thoughts seeing it go official today? What are you thinking about Bellinger's deal as a whole? Do you think it was an overpay? Do you think he deserves it? What are kind of your overall thoughts on the Bellinger situation?
I saw a lot of people acting like this was a guarantee. And although it kind of feels like that because you got a player coming back that you've gotten used to having around, I don't think it was anything close to that. I think there's no coincidence that this domino falls right after the Luis Robert domino. And I don't think that it necessarily shakes out that way if the Mets are willing to go to the fifth year, because I don't think it's the AAV that got in their way. I think they probably like the player Cody Bellinger, but they've been making it pretty clear all offseason they're not trying to go to that fifth year for anyone except for a guy like Juan Soto, I guess. So I guess it was more relief, whereas what I've seen a lot of people kind of share online and in their whatever space on social media or people I talk to, it's kind of, that was more of like oh, of course we got him back, kind of expected. I feel a little bit of joy that's been dampened a little bit with the Freddie Peralta news, because I was much more excited about kind of taking that jab from the Red Sox with the Ranger Suarez signing and giving it back with a much better pitcher, in my opinion. And there's still time to do that, but it certainly dampens the Cody Bellinger news. So I don't know, man. It feels like a really important thing to do, not just to stay the same, but to allow the complement that Bellinger brings to this line, kind of previously one-dimensional lineup, to continue and to be added to, rather than just to find a band-aid to try to maintain. Because whether you want to admit it or not, the offensive output was pre-Soto compared to with Bellinger is the way I like to try to compare it, and it's night and day. It's a huge difference. You can't overstate that, man. So it's relief, it's excitement for the next 5 years, and it's hope that this contract looks a little better than the DJ LeMahieu contract. That's kind of what I'm looking for in terms
of the Ellsbury deal.
Well, I don't think it. Well, I don't want to jinx it, but it's happening, man.
No, I think he's a much better player than that. I just want to say what's up to some of those who have chimed in on the chat. J Tank 1562 says, "Hey, it's been way too long. It absolutely has been." Spangler, my guy, he says, "I missed this. Let's fucking go, boys. What's up, man? Glad to have you in here." RJCCAN, same team, same bullshit. There's an argument to be made. We'll talk about that here in a bit. Dylan, is it just me or does free agent market costing more? Seems like teams and players are gearing up for that lockout and getting the most they can. It does seem like that. My guy Ravon, what's going on, man? Stock Trade Extremes is going to the World Series. And then we have It's Over, XI7TR. I'm trying to pronounce these these handles. The Yankees' expectation is to win, but the World Series will be excellent. They've lost that edge. Will they win the World Series this year? It's going to be, to be determined. There's some work to do. But let's get back into Bellinger here a little bit. Just wanted to say what's up to everybody tuning in. My guy Bernard, great to have you in here.
That was a good question from Dylan. Let's go back to that later. Let's put a pin in that one, Dylan.
Yeah, for sure. So the Bellinger situation, it without him, there was a gaping hole in the look at the lineup. If you slot Dominguez in there, or if you slot the mystery that Spencer Jones is, it's not good enough. If you try to platoon a Austin Hayes possible signing with a Dominguez, it's still not good enough. So the Yankees had 20. What did Bellinger have last year? Like 27 homers, close to 90 RBIs, close 8 something OPS.
I think 26 homers, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, so he had a good year and he played good defense, which is I think something that the Yankees were definitely very in on as well. His versatility to be able to play first base, all 3 outfield positions, and do it at a high level.
29, by the way.
29 homers.
Underestimated him. Yep.
Oh, unbelievable.
Yeah,
Unbelievable. How could I do such a thing? But I was kind of vouching for the guy all year because I thought that his 2023 offensive season was a sign that he was back from the shoulder issues. If you read into, some of the struggles he had after that 2020 shoulder injury where he had surgery, he really struggled with it the first couple of years after surgery. So 2023 was kind of a year where I was like, oh, shoot, there's the Dodgers Cody Bellinger. Maybe he's back. 2024, he had some issues. So 2025 was a big prove-it year. Was 2023 just a random one-off season, or is he, did he kind of revert back to the struggling type of player that we saw in 2024? And in 2020 till the 2023 was not a mistake. It was not an outlier. He provided, more than I think a lot of people expected. He had a rough first month, which soured some people on him a little bit and kind of tempered expectations on what he could possibly be. But after that first month, he really played well defensively and offensively and provided some much needed pop in the middle of that lineup, especially at lefty in Yankee Stadium. So definitely was a great, contributor to what was the league's best offense last season. Statistically, very unfortunate what happened in the playoffs. The bats kind of went cold. The league's best offense kind of, a little underwhelming in the Red Sox series, even though they won that one. And then against Toronto, two of the games in that series, they only scored 1 run. Another game, they only scored, they didn't score until the 6th inning. So, you had this regular season juggernaut offense that kind of didn't translate in the playoffs. And some of that was Cody Bellinger. As a guy who's sitting in the middle of the order, you expect what he does and have that big lefty bat right in the middle there to split up Judge and Stanton. And it didn't work, unfortunately. But, going into 2026, it's the year before a lockout. If there's a lockout in 2027, we're going to lose a year of Aaron Judge, which is very unfortunate. I think he's going to be 35 next spring. So if you miss 2027, he'll be 36 in 2028, and the time is ticking there. So, in 2026, you got to take advantage. It's a win now. It's a win now year. You had that, in your offense where Cody Bellinger was. There was a lot of Mets talk, a lot of Blue Jays talk. So it was like you said, it was kind of a sigh of relief because you don't have to go find 29 home runs and 800 OPS from the outfield position after Tucker already signed, and you kind of patch that hole for now. You're essentially running back the same lineup that they lost in the ALDS with, short of Paul Goldschmidt. But all expectations, I expect the Yankees lineup to be great again this season. I think Bellinger is going to have another good year offensively. And, it's one of those things a lot of people were talking about. Is he worth $30 million a year? What is Cody Bellinger worth? AAV was. This is the guy that was traded for Cody Poteet and a bag of chips. So everyone's kind of like, okay, how do you go from getting traded for Cody Poteet as a salary dump to getting $30 million a year? So what are some of your thoughts on the money he got? Not going 7 years, the whole structure of that contract. What do you think?
I think it's the production. I think it's he put up, and no, we can shut up about that, right? I mean, we know he had the pedigree coming in. We know he had MVP seasons in the past. We know that he was very inconsistent and unreliable for a time between that and now, and he put up the best we could have hoped for last year. Now, imagine if he'd hit 1 extra home run had 30 home runs at 29. Imagine if he put up a decent postseason. he probably isn't coming back.
Yeah, he would have got more probably, I think.
I think he walked the tightrope where he's established himself as a valuable piece and didn't have a clunker where his value went way down. But he didn't go out there and play hero ball in October, which kept the price at a reasonable level, which is what you want when you're setting a guy long term.
Right.
Now's the time. I mean, people who want to define him as a player that he was a year and a half ago based on transactions back then, it's like we're dealing in a different reality right now.
I agree.
Like, there's so many players that people are so convinced aren't worth $30 million. And that's the funny thing about inflation is like really because like there's a team paying them $30 million, which means that's the price.
Right.
So you don't want to pay up for every guy. You don't want to have an Aaron Hicks type deal where you're paying for a guy you hope is very good. You're paying a guy very good money for a guy you hope is very good. You rather overpay for a guy who could be all world and may end up just being very good. And so I think Cody Bellinger is definitely between those two ferns, right? Between a guy who I think you can hope he can be better than very good, right? The ceiling is certainly higher than I think even the ardent Aaron Hicks fans had for Aaron Hicks, but it's not a Juan Soto type locking in for the next 5 years kind of contract.
Yeah, I think, like you said, I think he's very good. Do you think? I don't think he's superstar level, right?
Well, no, and I'm less concerned about how I view it and more just to explain, I think, for people looking back on how this all broke down in the offseason, why the Yankees were perfectly willing to let this go to the wire and potentially let him walk and really hold the line, which I think now looking back in hindsight, we're all thrilled they did. As easily as we sometimes just say, it's not my money, like F that, like spend the money, Hal. I think we all can recognize that it was a very savvy move by Brian Cashman and team to say, here's what we think you're worth, and let us know if you have the courtesy. Let us know what you're getting out there. I'm not sure if the Mets gave him anything better. I'm not sure about the veracity of these two mystery teams. It's some Boris nonsense, if you ask me. I don't think we bid against ourselves. I don't think there was a team that was. I don't think the second team was way below us. And from every report you've read and I've read, it seems as if Cody was very motivated to come back and be to remain a Yankee, which is what you want to hear. I don't think that's a guarantee anymore. So,
yeah, I think he definitely wanted to be there. I think he was hoping for that 7-year deal, wanted that long-term stability as a guy who I think is 31 now. That'd probably be the last big contract of his career. But, the way this deal is structured, he got a $20 million signing bonus. In 2026 and 2027, he'll get $32.5 million. And then he has an opt-out if there's no lockout. So if there's no lockout, he can opt out after year 2. So essentially, he's getting a very front-loaded deal. He's getting $20 million up front, $32.5 million for the first 2 years each year. I think that's a total of $85 million total before he opts out. So it's very front-loaded. He's getting a ton of cash up front. And if he performs well in those 2 seasons and there's no lockout, you would think in year 3 he'll probably test the waters again. Let's say he replicates his 2025 offensive production in 26 and 27. That's 3 straight years of very high above average production, biggest market, playing good defense and stuff like that. So he might go back out into those waters and try again. So I think the way that's structured is going to incentivize Bellinger to play to his peak potential because he can possibly go back out and get more money. And it also gives some flexibility there where, if the Yankees want to pivot, let's say he did opt out in year 3 and the Yankees wanted to pivot and, allocate those funds elsewhere, they can. So I think it's kind of a win-win deal for both sides there. He's getting a ton of money up front and he can test the market again. And Yankees have some short-term flexibility if they want to do something else after he leaves, which he probably will if he plays well. So overall, I think it's a very solid deal. We didn't get locked into a 6 or 7 year deal with a guy. We're very paralyzed by fear with another potential DJ LeMahieu situation or Jacoby Ellsbury back in the day when they paid him a bunch of money. So, I think it works out great for both sides. It is kind of a bummer that we didn't try to add maybe a Bo Bichette or go after a Kyle Tucker to kind of, quote unquote, not run it back after, getting beat pretty handily in the ALDS. Everyone wants to see new blood. Hey, trade Jazz, throw Bo at second base or put Kyle Tucker in the outfield instead of Bellinger. It's going to cost a lot of money. based on what they
I
eventually
would argue
got.
last year, not to cut you off, but I would argue last
Yeah.
year all anyone wanted was to see the same offense come back.
Yeah, I
We're
mean,
a year removed from that, right?
I had so much confidence in them in the playoffs for that reason. I thought there were guys like Bellinger, guys like Ben Rice, Trent Grisham had a great year. Outside of Stanton, doing his Stanton thing, I thought there were layers to the lineup that were going to add offensive production that we didn't have previously.
And there's only 9 spots, right? And our depth now is better than it was even a year ago. I mean, we're not a worse team because we have Ryan McMahon on the roster.
Oh, right? Great defender.
I see a lot of people, even in this chat right now, talking about like how are we going to offload this contract. It's like we're not a worse team with Ryan McMahon on the team. Like you could argue that's an offensive gap in our lineup, but as long as that's in 7, 8, 9, I can live with it. It's a pretty important defensive position, and right now we're kind of. I mean,
and he could poke 25 homers out. Full season playing at Yankee Stadium. Right. I think he's going to be a platoon with Rosario. Yeah, I think when we face lefties, Rosario is going to play.
He's not a terrible bat. He's better bat than Volpe.
That's a pretty low bar, though.
Yeah, I mean, I think Yankee fans can be more optimistic that if Volpe continues upon his return on the exact same track that he's been on, we're not there yet, but we're very close to the time where even mid-season, I wouldn't be surprised if we made improvements at shortstop. Right, so you might not see something in this offseason, but if come August, or let's say come mid-July, I should say, or earlier, Volpe is just completely on that same flat trajectory of just 660 OPS, average to plus defense. I don't think you're going to keep hearing the party line of running him back out there. So that probably means that one of our bigger targets outside of the obvious with bullpen and arms is going to be make an improvement at shortstop unless Caballero takes the job or something. Or maybe Volpe maybe we're all idiots and Brian Cashman's been right about Volpe the entire time. I think we're all open to that possibility. But I think it would have happened already. We'll have to wait half a season. No, I think we're right on that tipping point for them. It would have come earlier for us, but I think we are right on that tipping because even they can't keep peddling that BS. It's not that they believe they're BS anymore. I think they're just going to be categorically more patient about a commitment like Volpe. And we're way ahead of them when it comes to our impatience. But I don't think it's like a never-ending well. I think we're half a season away from Volpe being shipped off in some way, shape, or form, or just outright released. And
what's crazy is
where we're going to make an improvement.
Sorry, I didn't want to jump in on you, but
no,
I think what's crazy is his 2025 is going to be wiped clean because they're going to give the labrum excuse. And his 2026 is essentially going to be excused because he's coming back from injury and getting his sea legs back under him. So he's getting a 2-year pass, 2025 and 2026, because of this labrum. Then you're going to have a lockout in 27. Are we going to see this guy again in 28? Who the hell knows? But if he's still there, holy shit, man!
I think that's the forward-facing talking point, and you're going to hear that to kind of buffer him from the scrutiny. You're going to hear Boone talk about that a lot, even. I think you'll hear that even if we're 1 week away from him being DFA'd. I think we're going to keep hearing that because it doesn't do any. And ask yourself this question: like, ask it of yourself. Like, if you're in Aaron Boone's shoes, like, what good does it serve you to trash this guy in the media? Now, maybe we can infer from how he talks about it and the twinkle in his eye that he's not giving them a different line when it's behind closed doors, which we think he should be. We think we're probably lacking a bit in the accountability department in terms of these players and their performance and the preparedness and all that stuff, base running, defense. But you got to believe it's still the right thing to do to not trash a player at the media.
And I don't expect the player to be trashed. I just don't appreciate the gaslighting and questioning my intelligence by saying he's still one of the best shortstop in the league. Stop it. Nobody believes that. No one in your organization believes that. Nobody on the field believes that. Nobody in that dugout believes that. So stop with the bullshit. You can very easily say, you know what? We'd like to see him play a little bit better. We think he's got more potential in there. We think he is a solid defender. We think he has some pop in his bat. We would like to see him continue to improve and blossom and heal from that injury and be a better player going forward.
Cashman says that about him. Cashman says
that's a much easier. That's a much more. I don't feel like I'm being lied to my face. You can't spit on me and tell me it's raining by giving that response. It's a very fair response. He does have some pop. He has shown some power before. He has had some seasons where he played good defense. So by saying we'd like to see that more, you're not lying. But if you tell me he's a top 5 shortstop in the game, I think you're an idiot. So
yeah. So anyway,
it's
just
that kind of stuff.
Just that one main, the kind of to zoom back out again. I hear you, man. I agree with what you're saying, absolutely. But kind of zoom back out again.
You told me before the show that you were Anthony Volpe's favorite number 1 fan, though. So I just wanted to touch on that a little bit.
It's a fucking lie. All right. I did not say that. In fact, even during his rookie season, I remember like I said something kind of like backhanded about how he'd been bad, but he keeps getting these clutch hits. And everyone, this was back in his rookie year when everyone loved this kid, man. And he was actually still a kid, not a veteran,
from Jersey.
Now.
The Italian stallion from Jersey.
And I was literally like the night where we were in LA and he had a big home run. It was like, man, like he's really had an up and down season.
Yeah.
But these clutch moments, man, I can't quit this kid. And people were like, what do you mean up and down? He's a rookie, blah, blah. I was like, dude.
Yeah.
It's like
there was a lot of overprotecting going on with him. A lot of parental instinct from the Yankee fans.
To put a bookmark at the end of this. I'm just saying, like, I think that we could be optimistic about if Volpe is bad. They're not just going to continue to run him out there during a winning season heading into October when it's clearly the biggest gaping hole, in our lineup.
Do you think if he was still a gaping hole in the lineup, but he was playing good defense, they'd still run with it?
If we developed a more pressing need somewhere else that we could acquire a player more cheaply, yeah. But if it's just like everything's humming, this is the one weakness right now. Yeah. Maybe he doesn't play stellar defense. But I think we've all look, dude. I'm okay with him having a 700 OPS if he's getting on base, stealing 30 bags.
I'd be shocked.
Scoring 110 runs.
That's all I've wanted for 2 years. Give me the 700. What's the 660 stuff? What's the 650 stuff?
Sign me up.
Yeah, you can be about league average and get away with it if you play good defense. You can't be 50 points below league average and continue to get the run, at shortstop and continue to be a rally killer. Feeble at bats. They talk about the labrum, but his pitch recognition was awful.
Here's my litmus test, man. I hear you. If I see him hit one home run or even take one home run swing during spring training, I'll know it's over. I want to see him hit 0 home runs in spring and bat 350 and I have him play. I want him playing 7 innings in all those games. And I want him dropping bunts. I want him to focus on being the greatest situational hitter you can be, even if it means going from hitting 20 bombs to hitting fucking 5 bombs.
Yeah. We've talked about it before. Everyone on the Bird app is like, just pull the ball in the air more, bro. Like it's that easy to do, right? Like, like people don't pitch you away. But I think when he's willing, okay, obviously middle in or fastball middle, something up in the zone, you're looking to, front shoulders coming out, you're looking to pull 7-4. If you're getting pitched away and you're waving at this stuff away, slider down and away, fastball out the corner, and you're trying to pull that and you're just popping up, you're rolling over. When he's willing to spray that the other way and pull mistakes, that's when he's at his best. We have seen it in spurts, but he hasn't put it together consistently for long enough to really believe in him. So, like you said, if he's out there trying to pull outside fastballs in spring training, then this kid's never going to fucking learn. But if he can make the adjustment, if he could go gap to gap, pull a ball in the gap there, take a heater, spray it the other way for a double, I think he can be a very productive offensive player.
He had hot months, right? He had hot months.
Of course. And that's when everyone goes.
There's a point here. There's the months where he wasn't hot. It was so bad. It was as if he couldn't even hit a fastball, which means that even if he can fix that midseason, there's a fundamental problem to his approach if he can't sustain that. If he can't sustain a basic ability to make contact with a fastball, right? So I don't want to hear about pulling a high and in fastball. No, I feel like I want him taking that or fighting it off. I don't want him trying to get big on anything.
Yeah,
because he hasn't shown a consistent ability to hit a heater for an entire season. I don't know, man. It's not
the basics. We want to see the basics.
It's the sporadic inability to even make contact where it's like, you got to develop a more consistent swing.
Like you said, there's times where he gets blown away by 93 down the middle, and you're like, bro, what are you looking for? Like, if you're not geared up for heater and you're missing that kind of stuff, I don't know why you're in the major leagues.
Because his dad bought the team equipment.
He's the team mom.
Yeah, his dad brought the orange slices.
The gushers and gummy worms.
Chicken parm.
Getting back to some of these comments, Spencer said, love Bellinger. He's got a great arm on like Gardy. Ooh, Gardy catches the strays there.
How dare you? You will not tell what true or not.
RJCCAN says, welcome back. Miss your guys' unfiltered takes. Thank you so much, man. Bernard says, rather see the Yankees trade for 2 more bats like Foreigner or Donovan. I would love that, but I don't know where they would play. You know, I think the lineup the way it is right now, it's that you know, unless something crazy happens with the move Jazz or something. I mean, I don't see it happening. Or
Cards are holding on to Donovan, I think.
Or I don't, if Horner played shortstop and Caballero and Volpe, you could just get erased from our memories. That'd be great too. I do like Caballero as a backup infielder though. Bernard also says we have some crazy good kids. Let them pitch. That's the only way we found out about Schlittler. That's true. There are some great arms down there. I think LaGrange is close. LeGrand, hey, I don't know how you say his name, but he throws so hard. Okay. I need, when he comes up, I need you to say his name just like that every time. My guy Ravon says, happy they didn't cave and give him a 7-year deal. Absolutely. John Brophy, what's going on, man? Good to see you in here. He says Mets nuking their roster only to rebuild. Sounds like a very Mets thing to do as the Yankees run it back. You know, the Mets are going to have to go to the Dodgers at some point. You know, they're trying to stack the deck and give themselves a chance. So we'll see what happens. Bernard says it's just not production, though. Bellinger's most athletic player on the team easily. Created multiple positions. Very true. He does offer a lot of athleticism, which we needed for years. So that's great. Rofi says I said the same thing on Threads. They said Cody was better than Hicks was. They said Cody is way better than Hicks was, but I just don't want the contract for sour fans. Or too sour on fans. Yeah, that long-term deal, you know, towards the end, it gets real ugly.
Belly is better than Hicks.
Nothing has changed. We need a top-line starter. Yeah, that rotation is going to be a little rough. Jordan, my guy, what's going on, man? Lombard Jr. will save me. I think he's a stud. I can't wait to see him. Ravon says I think he's still way off. Lombard has to be good in the minors. He does.
Damn, you're reading every single one, dude.
I'm almost done. I want to give everyone their clout.
This is why Lasagna's the man, dude.
They took the time.
Yeah, dude, I love it. Keep going.
They took the time to comment, so we got to give him some, give him some props. JSINO2K6. It's sickening to think that we have made one realistic move all season, all off season. You know, it has been sort of underwhelming. We are kind of running it back, but there's still time. We'll talk about Ryan Weathers here in a second. I think he's pretty solid. It's over, says Cashman seems to enjoy dumpster diving like signing Carrasco. I'm glad Carrasco and Stroman are not on this team, so that's definitely.
He comes up again later, by the way.
IO Design says can't wait to get bounced in the ALDS. That's the spirit. Jordan says Volpe needs the Keon Coleman treatment. Volpe needs to be sent to Guantanamo Bay and waterboarded with McDonald's Sprite.
I got one for you. I love cannolis. I love cannolis.
What?
Because the Keon Coleman, remember the Cam Newton thing? I love cookies. Yeah. I love cannolis.
Oh man, we are going into football now. This is going to be an all sports podcast here soon. Just you wait. Just wait until you hear me talk about Rory McIlroy playing the DP World Tour that's teeing off here in shortly. That you guys will be falling asleep here shortly. Last comment: Volpe has a hole in his swing, so pitch him high with a fastball low and away. I could probably get him out 3 out of 7 times if I face him tomorrow. So. That tells you everything you need to know about Anthony Volpe. I'm just kidding. Someone's going to clip that and put it somewhere and call me an idiot. So whatever. Just joking for the record. So going back to, some of the Bellinger stuff. What did you think when Grisham took the qualifying offer for $22 million?
I thought, why didn't we entertain the possibility of that happening more seriously? I think it was a mistake. I think they're going to act like it wasn't, but I think it was an error by the Yankees.
You think they got caught holding the bag?
Yeah. I think that's a lesson learned for the entire league by us.
That's how we do it, just like our base running.
Well, consider the fact that Grisham's track record was like 1 year at Yankee Stadium as a lefty.
Yeah.
And we thought there'd be a dumb enough team that wanted to try to win now that would pay him a decent contract. But I think there's so little parity right now in baseball compared to usual that there are very few teams that are like on the bubble that are, going to pay a veteran like Grisham, like veteran money. And so I think the market really is like confined to the 8 to 12 teams that are legitimately in contention. And none of those teams bit or we're even. I think, by the way, we don't know because he never actually went to free agency.
Right.
But I think his agent unfortunately, I think his agent might have a better read on the overall market outside of our market.
Yeah, he probably tested
and
the
Brian
waters a little
Cashman
bit.
team. Yeah. And as much of a Brian Cashman apologist as I am, I think that was a major mistake. I don't think I don't think they wanted him for 26 million, whatever, 22 million. I don't think they wanted him for that. So
yeah, I mean, so if we're looking at his production last season and we're looking at what, guys like Kyle Tucker and Bellinger got, if Grisham can replicate what he did in 2025, that's an enormous if you can capitalize the I and the F and the if as big as possible, that's what we're talking about here. Is 2025. If he could replicate that, 22 million is kind of a bargain, right? Am I crazy there? If we're looking at what the high end outfield market got in free agency, the crazy numbers these guys are getting paid. Christian hit what,
30 million. Homers? That's the high watermark right now, bro. We have a non-Otani, Otani cyborg, a regular, mortal human making 60 million playing average outfield and being a top 15 bat. It's going to be funny to hear to hear excerpts from the union's arguments during the CBA negotiations about why they need more money, more revenue. And I think that's going to be a cause for a lot of anxiety around potential lockout because they really are having their way with ownership across the league for the 8 to 15 teams that are arguably willing to pay those kind of contracts. Now, the ones we just talked about, maybe there's like 3-4 teams willing to do that. Hopefully we're still considered one of them. But it's just a tale of 3 markets in baseball right now.
Yeah, it's New York, LA, and what?
I mean, Chicago? It's the ultra high end. It's the, mid-market contenders, and then it's the absolute poverty. And it's crazy. It's difficult to not be definitively at the top tier of the top tier. But I think we're complaining too much.
As
a fan base, but I get it. I get the anxiety around it because, you and I are millennials. We grew up with absolute dominance being the standard and certainly financial dominance. Still end up having disappointing years, but losing the offseason is something we're not used to. So I get it, but I'm not weeping over it. It's tough to imagine there aren't going to be major systemic changes and regulations coming out of the CBA. And if those are necessary, that's going to potentially lead to what we're gearing up for with potential lockout being a very real and present threat to our game. So
it's going to be, I think bloodbath is an understatement. I think this thing is going to, if the report that came out the other day is real, that the owners are going to do whatever is needed to be done to get a salary cap, and I think 2027 is completely going to be gone. I don't think there's any question because the players will never cave on that because the players that came before them fought so hard to, get to a point where the modern day player can get, Kyle Tucker money, 4 years, $240 million. Those guys that came before them fought so hard to have players, to give players the ability to get these lucrative contracts that I think the players are going to dig their feet in the sand. The owners are going to say salary cap or nothing. They're going to dig their feet in the sand. It's going to be a staring contest for as long as it takes until somebody blinks. And how long are the owners willing to wait? How long is the league willing to, crash its reputation and not drive revenue and not be, on television, on ESPN, MLB Network, all these other networks. So it's going to be whoever blinks first. I don't know who has the leverage here. How long are the players willing to not play? How long are the owners willing to, not have money coming into their
I think the players see what's over. This is a law degree over here, by the way, just to let you know. So I'm
they are going to call you for these negotiations.
Yeah, I got a little bit of insight. I took a few classes in antitrust and bargaining law and all that stuff, contract negotiation. So I think right now the way to put it in an elevator digestible snippet, I would say elevator version. I'd say the players have the leverage, but the owners have the best argument. Because ultimately what's going to happen when it comes down to it is whatever really can be argued the best for being in the best interest of the game and of the league, right? And while greed plays a massive role, whether it ends up being a full salary cap or just a more laddered and incentivized version of the luxury tax, we need a little bit of regulating in terms of how teams are spending and pushing teams in the right direction, whether it be lower markets spending more or the larger markets just absolutely vacuuming up all high-end talent. So I think we're going to see something totally new, which scares me in terms of how the negotiations progress. Because last time it was all about revenue sharing and new gambling money coming in and how that gets distributed and kind of tweaking the luxury tax. But I think a more compelling question for us being a Yankees pod is whether or not you believe that a salary cap would be beneficial to us, because some of the murmurs and whispers and rumors you hear coming out of Yankee land is that Hal isn't entirely opposed to a salary cap, which seems to fly in the face of what our MO has been for the last 30 years. What are your thoughts on that?
If you look at the NBA and you look at the NFL, the bad teams are the bad teams even with a cap. How long have the Raiders been shit? How long have the Pelicans in the NBA been shit? How long have the Sacramento Kings been, somewhat uncompetitive? How long have, some of the lower end teams in the NFL been shit? So I think it's going to give, it's going to create a situation where the owners of the major markets are just not going to have to spend as much as they were before. So I think the owners of the Yankees, the Mets, all these, Chicago, LA, New York, all these big markets, if their total amount that they can spend is capped, then they technically don't have to pay as much, and they're probably still going to generate the same amount of revenue.
How does it help us or hurt us? Just be totally single-minded.
There's going to be less stars on the best teams. If you're look what happens in the NFL. You signed a big time quarterback to $55 million a year, and the defense is going to struggle. The O-line is going to struggle. You're not going to have great receivers. Your running back's not good. So you're going to have to spend your money more wisely, and by doing that, to fill out a roster that's going to be balanced and have a chance to win, you're going to have to spread some of that money around. So you can't add 15 all-star players at the high end of the market like the Dodgers have. You're going to have to spread that out a little bit. You're going to have to sacrifice here. You're going to have to sacrifice there to make sure that you can build a competitive team that's balanced top to bottom. So I think the fans lose either way, because I don't think you're talking about who has the better argument in the negotiations. I don't think they're even going to negotiate for a while. They're not even going to sit at the table. Yeah, the owners are going to say, we want a salary cap. If you want anything other than that, we're not talking. The players are going to say, well, we're not going to ever do a salary cap. If you keep asking for it, we're not talking. And no one sits down, no one argues, and it just goes on and on and on until somebody blinks. So, it's a losing situation for the fans. You're going to have less star players on your favorite teams.
It's a lose-lose for the players. I mean,
the bad teams. Of course, the players are going to get less money, but the bad teams are still going to be bad. Pirates and Rockies fans are rooting for, salary cap, we're going to be good again. You're not. The good teams are still going to scout well. The good teams are still going to, figure out ways to spread the money around and build a good team regardless, just like in the NFL. How long have the Chiefs won? Just like in the NBA. How long did the Warriors win? Good teams are still going to find ways to be good teams because they have good fundamentals. That's why they win. That's why they sustain winning. It's going to be a crazy situation, but it's going to be one of those things where we're just going to have to enjoy 2026 for what it is and just hope for the best in 27.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to kind of follow up, but very doom and gloom, considering there's a high probability there being a lockout. I think for the fans, what we're all rooting for is whoever kind of quote unquote wins, we hopefully have a result before it's too late for the season to start next year. So we'll see.
And part of the players not getting as much money is why they're probably never going to budge on that. But the owners everyone's going to point to the Dodgers, and we know Hal Steinbrenner's been one of those guys pounding the table for a salary cap in past years. He wants to spend less, obviously. He always does, because he's running the family business, trying to profit as much as possible. So it's Hal's going to be front and center, pounding the table for this thing, to go as long as possible until the owners get their way. So it's going to be Very interesting situation regardless. So let's get into one of the other big moves that the Yankees made this offseason was trading for Ryan Weathers.
Hell yeah.
They sent Dylan Lewis to the Marlins as the headliner. 22 years old. He played in, I think, up to high A this year. 22 home runs, 79 RBIs, and combined low and high A in 2025. 22 years in single A, 22 years old in single A. He probably comes up, what, age 24 maybe? Get some more experience in the minors. But I think for a guy like Weathers, who is kind of a low-risk, high-reward guy, I think what they gave up for him was fair. Ryan Weathers has 3 years of control, so that's nice. He has some versatility of the rotation. He can go to the bullpen if needed. He's pitched out of there before. What were some of your impressions on the Ryan Weathers deal, and where do you think he falls in this kind of hierarchy of the pitching staff?
I think he's a very compelling Matt Blake reclamation project for a guy who didn't even have a bad year last year. I think you look at his strikeouts to walk ratio being pretty close to elite and his velocity being elite, and you can really dream on a guy like that. And I like the high upside bridge to Rodon and Cole getting back to full health versus just an innings eater like a Carrasco or a Syndergaard type guy where you don't really have a ton of upside. I love bringing in a guy that could be a real piece, whether it's, starting to start the year, maybe out of the bullpen, probably those kind of things will probably get worked out based on injuries. The number one thing you look at with Weathers that makes you kind of concerned is the injury history. But, if healthy, I've got a lot of confidence in his trajectory and his skill set to potentially, be an odds-on favorite to really maybe break out. Maybe break out, at the very least, be an average major league pitcher with very few control problems and a lot of high velocity. You can't find those guys a lot. They don't grow on trees. Guys with high velocity and good control. The results haven't been as elite as those metrics have been, but that's what you want. That's what you want in a guy that you can acquire for a pretty cheap price. So I think it was a real master stroke for this offseason. Not a huge headline grabber, but really, really interesting move for us.
Yeah, 100%. I'm a big velo guy, and he throws absolute cheddar, so that's great. You don't find lefties who throw 98 to 99 very often. They don't grow on trees. He's got a great changeup too. That changeup is filthy. He's got a great sweeper, so he can pitch to righties. He can pitch to lefties. He can attack up in the zone with that hard fastball, which I love. That's my favorite thing to do. If I woke up tomorrow and I threw 98, as soon as I had 2 strikes on you, Connor McGuire, I would throw a fastball up at your neck and hope you swung at it. How do you feel about that?
450 bridge, dead center.
Each
motherfucker.
Well, let me get into some of these comments real quick. Stanley says, good to have you guys back. Cody's looking forward to winning a World Series. It's been, 16 years? Yes, it has been a long time. Let's see if Cody can replicate that 2025. Connor McGuire, 19. I love Cody noise. Is that your mom?
That's me.
Did you comment that? Oh, you commented that yourself. Okay, my bad.
Yeah.
It's like, what's going on here? RJCCN says, Volpe's future is the bat boy for the Savannah Bananas. I think you got to be able to do like backflips and shit. So I don't know if that's a good fit for him. We'll see. Don't want to mess up that labor again. Yankees lover says, hey, fellas, not sure if you covered it already. Heyman said the Yankees are already done with the offseason, and what we have now is what will run out to start the season.
I saw that article. And I'm kind of thinking maybe it's not as definitive as it sounds. I think it's kind of more like, hey, if this is it, Yankee fans should be more satisfied than they are. But I do not think we are. I'm not sure we're going to see any major transactions, but I think we have some more arms to add.
If they added a Michael Kopech, and pray to God he stays healthy, but if they add someone like him, I think Sir Anthony Dominguez is out there. A couple good arms. Colombe, former Twins guy, is out there. So there's some good arms out there still. I don't know if they want to, grab an Austin Hayes and have a bench piece off the bench as a right-handed hitter who can hit lefties. There's still some things they can do. I don't know what they're going to limit their total payroll at, so I don't know how much wiggle room there is left after the Bellinger deal. But it wouldn't surprise me if this is what we're going to start the season with, because I know they believe in what this lineup did last season. I know they believe in We're starting pitching once it gets fully healthy, once Colin Rodon gets back. That bullpen is shallow, though. That middle relief is ugly. So,
Yeah.
I mean, there are a couple set up, like a Duvall injury or a Cruz injury away from absolute horseshit in the middle of that bullpen. So, I mean, they got to add something eventually.
I think we're going to see. I think it'll be interesting to see whether they have confidence in the guys they can promote from within. Some of the younger arms they liked to, towards the end of last year in AA and AAA. A lot of guys that throw hard, so they might feel more confident in rolling the dice on a basket of guys like that, and giving some guys a real shot out of spring to make the big league club.
Fair enough. I mean, they can also trade some at the deadline to acquire some high-end talent. So there's some options there. Bernard says we want to see the young arms. We sure do, especially after Schlittler last year. That only happened due to injury. Yeah, I mean, you have ERC down there. You have LaGrange. You have Hess. A few other guys that throw hard. So be interested to see what they can do at the major league level. Herbie Hansen 2.0 after 1.0 got what? Did it get your account get deleted or something like that? But what is up, Herbie? Good to have you in here. Herbie is my secret man crush on Twitter if you haven't seen that, so keep it quiet. Don't tell anyone. Bernard also said, yeah, Heyman said Judge was going to San Francisco too. That is also true. He also he said he spelled opt-outs in his tweet today with zeros.
I have a theory on that. I saw that. I have a theory on that. I feel like he might have this weird boomer attitude about if I put zeros in, I can tell if someone copies and pastes my report into their tweet.
Oh, that
it's really weird to think.
You're not just a byproduct of that law degree on the wall there, pal. There's more going on in there than just law.
Think like a baby boomer. I can put myself in the shoes of an old moron.
You just enlightened me, to a point where I don't know if I can continue the rest of this podcast. But
John Heyman is a confirmed buffoon, borderline illiterate.
He is Scott Boris's puppet. He wears him on his hand, and we'll just stop there. But Herbie says allegedly threatened Cashman. Allegedly. Threatening my real biological father will get you banned on Twitter. So that doesn't surprise me one bit. Bernard says no one wants to copy Heyman. I think the only thing worse than copying Heyman might be copying Bob Nightingale or something.
Yeah.
Those guys are the dynamic duo. But Joel Sherman works with Heyman. So maybe
speaking of Nightingale,
more credible than we thought.
Did you see him talking? I think it was with MLB Network. Harold Reynolds and Greg, whatever his last name is.
Amsinger?
Yeah, thank you. Greg Haircut.
Big MLB TV guy.
Yeah, well, Bob was talking about the AL East, and Bob Nightingale made the argument for the Yankees being the fourth best team in the division, which I thought was really cute. I don't know how the Orioles are better than the Yankees because they got Pete Alonso.
They can't pitch.
Yeah, I don't understand how they can have the worst rotation in the entire American League and be better than a team with Garrett Cole, Carlos Rodon, Max Fried, and Cam Schlittler. I don't understand it. And also, I think the Yankees arguably have better offense too.
Yeah,
Bellinger back. So I just don't get it. I don't know how these guys have jobs.
It's a hot take, clickbait kind of opinion. The Orioles are going to be better. They're not going to be, a slouch like they kind of were last year. But they're not going to. I don't think they'll be good enough over the course of a full season to finish ahead of the Yankees.
All right,
where the Yankees roster is.
I have kind of a take. I feel like the best thing that happened to the Yankees this offseason was the Red Sox and the Blue Jays kind of having piss poor off seasons. I feel like they didn't. I mean, the Blue Jays got worse. They added Dylan Cease, who's like a pretty mediocre, decent starting pitcher.
He's going to eat innings for them.
Yeah. And the Red Sox lost Bregman and added Ranger Suarez, who's a very good pitcher, but I don't think they got better. So I don't know, man. I think the Blue Jays got worse and the Red Sox stayed the same. And the Yankees are marginally improved with Garrett Cole coming back.
Blue Jays added Okamoto. They still have Santander. Where does Santander fit in that whole equation? I have no idea. Still got Barger. Added Dylan Cease. I don't know if they still have Shane Bieber. And is Shane Bieber still there? Or is he gone? I don't know. Scherzer. I don't know. They got you Savage still. Gossman. Bassett's not there anymore. They're going to have a good team. That lineup is good. We got to beat them head-to-head, though. You can't have a poor head-to-head record against these teams in the AL East and expect to win the division. So if the Yankees want to have some of those home playoff games, or I think the division winner gets a first-round bye as well. So first-round bye, some home playoff games, the Yankees got to make sure they take care of business against the AL East.
Hell yeah. That is the biggest question. Can we win 8 to 9 games against the Blue Jays, Red Sox, and
have to. Got to step up, man.
Yeah.
Uncle Ted says the only way to beat the Dodgers is to add Yordan Alvarez. Yordan plus Judge. That is an MLB The Show force trade, and I like it. He also says the Orioles are loaded with starters, Bradish and Rogers. Bradish coming off of a big-time injury last year. We don't know what he's going to be. Rogers solid. He said probably get Peralta. Peralta just went to the Mets. Toasty, what's going on, man? Good to have you in here. Do you think the league minimum players are going to try to control things because they can't go a year without salary? That's a very interesting point with the whole lockout situation, is those guys on the league minimum, the guys that are not making much are going to be like, hey, get the season started, man. I'm trying to get paid. I got bills to pay. So we'll see, how much they push some of the guys at the top. But the players are just going to – I don't think the players will cave. I don't think they can afford to cave. It's going to completely restructure, everything about, baseball finances if the players cave to a salary cap. An interesting question, law degree, man. If the Dodgers – if there is a salary cap implemented, what happens to all of these high-dollar Dodgers players that are accumulated on that roster? Do they have to relinquish some of them to free agency or a pool or something? Or what happens in that situation?
It's a really good question. I think you can look back to what happened with the NFL when they added it. They have they have to structure with a glide path, right? So they have to allow teams to have a fair chance to kind of re-regulate their own allocation of funds. So it'll be staged out as kind of like this gradual implementation. So it won't be this sudden kind of like throwing the car into park on the highway kind of thing with yeah.
That would be honestly one of the most interesting parts. Part of me obviously doesn't want the salary cap, but part of me wonders, like, if it happened, what the hell would it look like? I think it would be fascinating to see how everything would play out. But I don't hope it happens, but I'd kind of be like, okay, now what?
Yeah, I wouldn't say it'll never happen, but I think it's very, very unlikely. And I think it comes down to whether or not the ownership really, really wants to push for it. And if they do, I think it all but guarantees a lockout or maybe a strike. So
the Tucker sorry, I didn't want to cut you off. I think once Tucker went to the Dodgers for this absolutely ridiculous deal, the owners were like, all right, enough is enough. We gotta figure out a way to at least cap them a little bit, to limit them a little bit. This is just free reign, throwing around hundreds of millions of dollars in every direction and accumulating every best player that comes available. So I mean, I can't blame them. I mean, I would be frustrated too if I was the Diamondbacks or someone. Like, you can't compete with that. But I mean, the Diamondbacks were just in the World Series in 2023 against the Texas Rangers. So there is parity at times in this league, but
it's a great time to be a Dodgers fan. I'm in a pretty. I used to live in LA. I got a lot of friends in this group chat, all Dodger fans, and their response was like even more depressing than the actual news. They were like, "Oh, cool! Look, we got Kyle Tucker. Where's
so
he
jaded.
How is he going to fit into our lineup?" I mean,
they're so jaded now.
That's kind of tight. Cool, man.
Okay, now what? What else?
What number is he gonna wear? Oh, 2-3. Oh, they're not even really all that excited about it.
Meanwhile, if the Yankees signed Kyle Tucker, they would be fitting him for a plaque in Monument Park, and Yankees Twitter would explode. So, at the tale of two cities, and they're coming. The fact that they're coming off a back-to-back World Series championships, plus adding an Edwin Diaz, plus getting a Kyle Tucker, they're in a position where now the owners are just going.
I think based on Bellinger's versatility and the fact that he can play first if Ben Rice catches, and how he plays at our ballpark in the defense, right? I think for 2026, he helps the Yankees more than Kyle Tucker.
It's a fair argument to be made.
That's my lukewarm kind of not quite hot take. So
yeah,
I really believe that. I think I would argue that till the cows came home. I believe that to be true, and that's why the Yankees never really even gave Tucker a shot. And it's interesting that even when it really was a sign that like things didn't heat up after Tucker got signed, they kind of did, I guess. You could argue a couple days later, Bellinger falls, but I don't think the Yankees ever really had Tucker in their sights at all.
Yeah, especially if there was rumors that this type of a high AAV deal was what he was looking for, or if there was any possibility he might get it. The Yankees are just like, absolutely not.
Yankees couldn't have done 60. It's crazy. They just wouldn't have done it ever.
Yeah, Hal and Cashman would have laughed in whoever's that.
There's a break glass in case of emergency type thing where if Austin Wells is terrible, you can slide Ben Rice to catcher, and I think they're going to add another catcher.
I like it, Ben Rice at catcher, man.
Ruvino type guy, yeah. And then you put Bellinger at first as he ages, and then you have a nice opening for Spencer Jones. So I think it's going to come down to like there's a million different versions of what can play out. But if Austin Wells is not good at all, and Spencer Jones in limited time shows like he's very, very exciting and very, very good, I think you have Ben Rice at catcher, and I think you have Cody Bellinger playing a lot of first base. So
I wouldn't hate that at all. We've talked about that before. It'd be very interesting. Izzy DeVoe says like number 10. Thank you, man. I appreciate you guys coming in here, commenting. We love reading the comments and engaging with you guys and putting what you guys are saying into our conversation. It makes it very fun and keeps the ball rolling. So thank you for liking this video. Subscribe to the account. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your pets at home, tell your cats, your dogs,
goldfish,
or your pet bunnies, like
your rabbits.
In my case.
Yeah.
So that is would be very much appreciated. We haven't been doing this for a while because there's been nothing to talk about. This isn't some of these other shows where we have to desperately, go out and put out content because we got to pay the bills. So we will be doing this.
I've been locked in on the John Harbaugh news, so
I'm telling you, you hear that? This is going to become a multiple sport show in time. I know you guys can't wait to listen to me talk Colts, so we'll make sure to prioritize that next time. But no, a lot of Giants fans very excited for Harbaugh. I hope Scatterbo is fully healthy. I want to see Malik Neighbors be fully healthy. I want Jackson Dart to have a full complement of weapons. I want Harbaugh to find an OC that he loves, and I want to see the New York Giants be good again. I'm not a Giants fan, but I always have a soft spot in my heart for them because they took out Tom Brady not once, but twice for me. It was my mortal enemy back in the day. So I always have a soft spot for the New York Giants. New York Football Giants. All right, let's get that straight. Right. Matt B says, my guy, Johnny, what's up, man? Good to have you in here. It's been a minute. Uncle Ted says, did you just say the Mets got Peralta? Freddie Peralta, right? Yeah, Mets. So that's the other thing. Am I crazy?
That happened.
Yeah. On the Twitter sphere, it's
happening.
For a second there, I thought maybe I was hallucinating, but
no, it happened.
It says Connor and Lasagna, do you think Judge gets a championship in the Bronx before he's done?
Yes.
Woo!
Short answer, yes.
I will side with Connor there. And
if we don't think he will, what the fuck are we doing? What are we doing a podcast for? What we just burn our gear.
Why do we keep watching?
Yeah.
It'll be year 27 and we'll still be waiting for that championship. Uncle Ted says there'll never be a salary cap. I don't know. Maybe eventually. Matt says, by the way, the Yankees will never match that trade. I'm sorry. I don't know anything. I gotta admit, I don't know anything about the Mets prospects outside
they
of
have
Tom
deeper pitching prospects than us, and they had a much stronger need for pitching than we did.
Oh yeah. They need pitching badly.
It in hindsight, it makes a lot of sense that if they like Peralta in that building, they were going to get him.
For sure.
Yeah, they had more chips.
Oh, Yankees Dirtbag. What's up, man? Good to have you in here. Good to see you again. He says, love the JL, goes live these days. I appreciate it, man. We appreciate you guys tuning in. Absolutely. It's always fun. Uncle Ted, I appreciate all the comments, man. You're here filling it up. Let's see. Dirtbag says, a real fan who will always keep it real. I appreciate that, man. We've talked before. It's
real.
There are some accounts out there who will feed you a bunch of bullshit and always paint the sky blue and everything is rainbow and sunshine. So it's not me. So
the only thing blue here is the mountains behind.
Light, baby. This guy, I'm telling you, there's not just a law degree in that head. There's a lot of content. There's a lot of personality in that head. I gotta tell you. You guess 94 says Cole Free to Rodon are blow-ups waiting to happen in the playoffs. Ouch. I don't know what the hell to expect from Garrett Cole this year. I pray he's like Verlander, where he's like 47 years old, throwing 98 still. That would be amazing if that happens. But we'll get in that a little bit here in a second. Nick says, "Welcome back. Missed this. Thank you for being in here, man. Have we talked Yankees bullpen? We're getting there. We touched on it a little bit, but we'll get into the pitching staff here in a second. Izzy DeVille says, by the time Spencer Jones comes up, he'll be AARP approved. I'm so curious to see what he's going to be at the major league level. I know he hits a ton of doubles, home runs in the minors, a lot of strikeouts, athletic freak, runs like a horse in the outfield. What is he going to be? He has no lane this year, 2027. I don't know if it's a lost year, 2028. Are we going to see him? Who the hell knows? But
I think that you hope he's like a Byron Buxton type guy.
Could be.
That's what you hope for.
If that's his ceiling, I mean, I want to start seeing him now. Ravon says, more hyped about the Giants football than I am the Yankees. Well,
me too. We shouldn't be, because the Yankees, unlike the Giants, don't punish us the way the Giants have. Speaking as a hardcore fan of both, I think the standards are different. If the Giants win 9 games next year and come December, there's at least an in the hunt logo by their name, I think we'll be ready to throw a parade for John Harbaugh and co. But the Yankees, it's a matter of there's only one metric by which we judge our team. It's to win it all. So I think it's a matter of perspective and expectations. So I agree with what you're saying, but with that caveat.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of expectations, living in the now, the Colts were 7-1. I was on top of the world, and then the whole sky came falling down, and they missed the playoffs. So that is my football fandom in a nutshell.
Sorry, man.
But we still watch. I'm having a great time watching the NFL playoffs, though. I think it's fun as shit. I think all the coaching, hiring, and firings are fun to talk about. It's been riveting. It's been awesome television, must-watch entertainment. I'm sad that NFL's ending, honestly. I'm a huge football fan, but we got baseball around the corner, so that'll keep
3 more games of football. 3 more games.
Crazy, man. It's been such a fun, entertaining year.
9 more hours.
The parody.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm excited for this weekend. I can't wait to watch these games.
What's up, Donnie? Welcome in, buddy.
Hey, what's going on, Donnie? Jimmy Matthews says, Johnny, we aren't the same Yankees anymore. We've got star players. We've got a high payroll. The argument can be weird that we kind of are, but the league's changed a lot. We're not top of the food chain anymore. The Dodgers are. So
you got to play the games, Jimmy. You got to play the games, man.
We got to figure out how to compete with those guys. Matt June says Cashman having a job for life is insane. I wish the cops arrested him when he got pulled over that one time. Oh, have you seen that video?
Yeah, of course.
Oh my God, that video. I posted it a couple of weeks ago, and there were so many people in the comments who were like, "Oh my God, is this recent? Oh my God, I've never seen this before." Like they thought it just happened. Yeah, it was pretty funny, but. What a freak! The cop's like, "Oh, you look familiar." And Brian Cash is like, "Shut the fuck up, guy."
Honestly, he was very casual. He was like, "Yeah, I'm the GM of the New York Yankees."
He was so. I mean, he was at gunpoint like a couple minutes ago.
He was the opposite of what Aaron Judge's wife was like.
Oof! Aaron Judge's wife catches strays. Listen to this man.
Jimmy Matthews. God bless that entire family and even their little dachshunds.
I'm the uncle. I'm the Scrooge on that whole thing. I don't give a fuck about these guys' dogs. I'm tired of seeing them. Get them off the fucking field. This is where players play. I don't want to see pictures. Stop talking about the fucking dogs.
Okay, says, dude, you're so real. You're so real for that, my guy. So freaking real.
I'm just being honest.
You guys hear that? Christ. How cool is this man? I don't give a shit about
I only want to see Conor McGuire's cat over his shoulder, which I haven't seen yet, and I'm still waiting for. So
yeah,
until then, I'm a little sour. Ravon says, agreed. Danny says, salute chat. Salute Johnny. What's going on, guys? Cody Bellinger and Pinstripes. Yeah, that Boris negotiation was interesting. But Brian Cashman did do a good job on that negotiation. Got to say. Let's see. Jimmy
I've heard that from Donnie's last comment. I've heard that the return for Peralta looks pretty steep for the Mets. I'm not going to pretend to be an expert. I don't really read Baseball America very much, but the people that are in the know are saying that the Mets paid a pretty steep price to get Peralta. So,
I mean,
I'm sure that was driven up a lot by the Yankees competing for that offer as well, even if they couldn't beat it. The Mets certainly give up a pretty big haul for Peralta, as they should. Peralta's a great pitcher.
I mean, they're going for it. I will never shame a team for going for it. Maybe they think they can sign him long term. I don't know.
Hopefully they can beat the Marlins next year as a start.
There's a guy, Ryan Weathers, who's now on our team. So I don't think they'll be beating the Marlins anytime soon. The Marlins are a juggernaut because they got Dylan Lewis in return. So we are just going on a tangent here. No, but the Peralta move, we wanted Bo Bichette, didn't happen. We wanted Tucker, didn't happen. We wanted Peralta, didn't happen.
I never really believed in Bo Bichette. I don't know about you.
Too much had to happen. Did you ever believe that Jazz would actually be traded?
No, I didn't believe it. I don't see it. I never saw it. I think these were just rumors.
Right. And a comment Cashman made, I think in 2019 or 18, there were some rumors about Gleyber Torres being traded. And Cashman was on the record saying, "Are you crazy? I have to walk around this town." Like, he understands that certain players are fan favorites. I think Jazz is a fan favorite. Even though he gets a lot of shit on Twitter, I think a lot of fans really like him and his swag and his personality and stuff like that.
He gets a lot of shit from opposing fan bases.
Yeah, he does. Yeah. He needs to start hitting the playoffs. But, in the regular season, when he stays healthy, he is a big time. He's one of the best players at his position. So I don't think him. Right?
He hit a bomb against the Blue Jays. He did a few things.
Yeah, he did. But we got to see more consistency. Anyways, getting into the Yankees pitching situation. So, every season early in the year, people shrug off losses and they're like, "Oh, it's early. It's early." And sometimes that comes back to bite you in the ass in the division if you're playing, divisional rivals and you end up finishing behind them maybe a couple games. You look back to those early season games, you're like, damn, if we could have squeaked out that win or this win, maybe it'd be closer. So the current Yankees projected starting rotation going into San Francisco here in late March, so coming up. Max Fried is the number 1, Cam Schlittler number 2, Luis Gil number 3, Will Warren number 4, and Ryan Weathers will be the 5. So do you have any concerns that until May and late June, or May and June, when Rodon and Cole can get back, can the Yankees tread water with their current staff, 1 through 5, plus the bullpen the way it currently sits, and get to a point where Cole and Rodon can get back where they can, kind of hit their stride and become the full power Yankees roster that we think they can become? Are you concerned about this early season rotation?
Always concerned about things that are obviously going to be the biggest hurdles for us to get over. And I think for that reason, it would be really nice if the Yankees could go out there and add a Mackenzie Gore. That's the one that's the kind of move I'm really hoping for. The kind of move I dream on when I tell myself that John Heyman's full of shit with that article he wrote about how Yankee fans should be satisfied. And this is probably all she wrote for the offseason. It would solve a lot of problems to add a Gore. And he's a controllable, high upside, high pedigree, hard throwing, tall starting pitcher. Not going to be cheap. You'll end up giving up either, Spencer Jones and or Jason Dominguez to acquire Mackenzie Gore. And even if you guys haven't heard a ton about him because he hasn't been as hot a target this offseason as Freddie Peralta, there are reasons to like him even more. There are reasons to believe that he could demand pretty close to a similar package for what Peralta wanted, just based on the controllability and the high upside talent. But besides that, short of us acquiring a Gore or someone that at ilk, I think it's a tough hurdle to get over. But we talked about Weathers earlier. I think I like the upside there. I'm worried about the injury risk. And it wouldn't be surprised if we saw a few bullpen games here and there with the Yarbrough or a couple guys coming up.
It's a great point.
Leaning on guys like Will Warren, hoping they take a bigger leap this year than they took last year. There's enough to like there where you could see the front office kind of standing pat. But if it's on the table, if it's on the menu, I think we should be willing to part with virtually the same package we would have for Peralta to acquire a Gore to just really button that up nicely. We're in a win now mode with Judge in his prime and hopefully getting a healthy Cole back. I don't know. I have some faith we'll make a move like that. But if it doesn't happen, I don't think it's impossible for us to kind of keep that train moving until, I'd say May, until we're fully healthy.
Would you be how do I phrase this? If the Yankees were 500 by the time Rodon and Cole got back, do you think they can run the table the rest of the season and win the division, or do you think they're in big trouble?
I think they're in big trouble because it's a very competitive division. And if they don't come back until mid-May, I think you're in trouble 500.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, and Luis Hill has been fragile. Weathers has been injury prone.
Depth though, man, right? The more we talk about it, I'm like, we have a ton of depth. Like, it's not like we're not like I heard someone say the Orioles have a great rotation. They don't. I don't know why you said that. I forgot your name already. Thankfully for you. But like, we are not the Orioles, man. We have like good live, in many cases, young arms available who can pitch and can eat innings. Maybe they're not like a Dylan Cease, but a Luis Hill is a former Rookie of the Year winner, and he's probably our lowest graded starter coming into the year based on last year, right? So
I'd take him over Warren.
Yeah, but I mean, Warren pitched more last year. I don't know.
He did. No, he did.
Yeah.
Hill is kind of in one of those stay healthy or get the fuck out years. Like, you can't continue to be missing that much time. Like Lasagna, by the way, is a Arizona Diamondback because he couldn't stay healthy.
Arizona.
Still that was pretty intense what he just pulled off right there. Mackenzie Gore, like you said, is a unrestricted free agent in 2028, so he does come with control. What always cracks me up is how some people still overvalue like pitcher win totals as a starting pitcher. Mackenzie Gore last year was 5-15. Holy shit! He's
a bum.
Get rid of him. He's worthless. He's trash.
He was an all-star in the first half, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, his second year was kind of rough, but his first half was really good. But if he's in the back end of your rotation,
he was elite in the first half.
Yeah,
like he was in arguments. So he was in conversation to start the All-Star game. So I mean, like give me that for the first half of the season.
Yeah, I'd be thrilled with that too.
All day.
Yeah, I think Max Fried. So Max Fried, I think he'll also have another good regular season again. He's going to be relied on heavily for the first 2 months, but he was relied on heavily all year last year. So I don't foresee him having a problem with that.
Biggest thing with Max Fried, I think about is he's got a high floor, man. He might not be.
Oh yeah, 100%.
He might not be pitching like an ace, but he's going to have a high floor. He's going to have a high floor, man.
It's crazy because when we signed him, one of my colleagues is a huge Braves fan, and she was like, "Good luck with Max Fried. He's always got a bad hamstring. He's always got a bad elbow, bad forearm. He's always hurt." And I'm like, "Look, I'm not saying that I'm not concerned about that, but I think if he stays on the field and he's healthy, fingers crossed, like he was last season, I mean, he's as good a number 2 behind Garrett Cole when Garrett Cole's healthy as you'll have in the whole damn league. So, I'll take my chances with him as my number 2 behind Garrett Cole, and then of course Garrett Cole got his elbow fell off.
Yeah, remember how pumped we were before Cole's injury last year to have Fried.
Oh man,
top. We're gonna have that this year. So.
Right. I'm very excited to see what Cole's going to look like this year. Cam Schlittler. A full season of Cam Schlittler. Yeah. So he came up last season pretty late. In the minors, he was throwing 94 to 96. When he came up to the bigs, he's throwing a hundo. Crazy. So my biggest thing is, one, can he maintain that crazy high velocity for a full season as a starting pitcher? He's going to log innings. And two, how is he going to take those innings, that increased innings load durability wise? Like, are we going to see a fan IL to limit his innings over time? Are they going to just keep running him out there every 5 or 6 days and let him, kind of figure it out? Like a Will Warren. I mean, Will Warren had a history in the minors of logging innings, so that they've felt like they could let him throw 160, 170 in the bigs. Cam Schlittler, I'm going to be very interested to see how they manage him this year, because you're talking to a dude that what he did in the playoffs last year and towards the end of the season last year was like, holy shit, this is baby Garrett Cole. Do they handle him with kid gloves? Do they let him just go out there and chuck it for a full season? I don't know. But what do you think about Schlittler? What are your expectations of him over a full season? What are your concerns, expectations, those kind of things?
I think in an ideal scenario where you have people staying healthy, people getting healthy, you could see a really strong argument for a 6-man rotation where this kind of takes care of itself. But when you're in a pennant race and guys go down, and it's a matter of, putting your best guy out there as often as you can and not having Ryan Yarbrough start for you.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
And I like Yarbrough.
Then the preserving our best pitchers who are young for the postseason kind of goes out the window, because I know everyone acts like it's a foregone conclusion we're going to win 95 games.
Right.
But it's not. It's a marathon, man, and it's a grind. And these guys have to produce wins, and they play basically every day. So would love it to shape up like that, where you could, for the dog days of the summer, really lean on a 6-man and have guys kind of coming up and down that are effective enough to really not force the hand to pitch Cam Schlittler every 5th day.
Yeah.
So that come September, come October, he can not only be fresh but be highly effective. And it's always tough to predict with these guys whether they can maintain the trajectory around velo. And that's the thing about velo, man. I know you love it, but it comes with a lot more risk.
100%.
So hopeful, and certainly can see the path for it to work out. But stay tuned, right?
Yeah, and especially considering the jump in velocity from the minor to the bigs. I understand increase in the big stage. You got adrenaline pumping, and you're kind of overexerting yourself a little bit and reaching that peak maybe a little sooner than you should have. And I'm not saying that it could be well within what he's capable of. Maybe he was just taking it easy in the minors. I don't know, but arm concern. If you look at his body, he's a big tall guy, but he's not kind of quote unquote thick. Hey yo. You see a guy like Garrett Cole who's 6'5", but
his mentions on Twitter are pretty
strong,
pretty thick with 2 C's.
But you see a guy like Paul Skeens, or you see a guy like Garrett Cole, strong lower half, big, filled out dudes. Cam Schlittler is a little more Rodon, thicker dude. So some of these skinny guys, sometimes you don't have that powerful lower half, so sometimes you're relying on arm a little bit more. This is all just speculation. So
not to get too deep on like kinesiology or anything, but he is a lower body dominant.
Great word out of you.
You got it. Yep. He is a lower body dominant guy, and hopefully, he'll put some weight on as he ages. But
he's got a good drop and drive.
He's not like a Mike Hampton, he's not like a tall, wiry, thick, like up at the top kind of guy. He's got a bit more of that Garrett Cole body, maybe even more so Max Fried, like long, powerful limbs in the lower half and kind of a shorter torso, long arms, kind of what you want, prototypical. So
his physique kind of reminds me of Glasnow a little bit.
Yeah,
where you're big, super long, kind of lanky, especially
legs are everywhere.
Younger, just moving
everywhere.
Parts all over the place. And for those guys, it's harder for them to repeat their mechanics sometimes for that reason. But I think he's got
simple though, right? He's pretty compact, nice and simple. Gets behind the ball. Yeah,
he pours that fucking thing in there, man. I love to watch him pitch. I'm very hopeful for him. I think he's got an incredibly bright future. We just got to see, if he threw 150 innings this season, I wouldn't say shocked, but I'd be very pleasantly surprised, and I'd be very curious to see how he would carry over into October after a full workload.
Yeah,
so, something to watch there. Luis Hill, I'm assuming he's probably going to get hurt again. It's just kind of what he's been, unfortunately. Will Warren is interesting because if you follow some of these pitch rating accounts on Twitter, he's always among some of the top guys in terms of pure stuff. He's got crazy run on his fastball sinker thing. His sweeper is insane. His changeup moves a ton. Someone tagged me on Twitter earlier. I totally forgot their name. I'm sorry. But I think outside of the Dodgers start where you give up like 100 runs, and then I think there was one other start where he got shelled. Yeah. Oh, that's right. Exactly. We were there. That's right. Yeah. And then one other start where he got shelled. His ERA was low, and he had actually a really good season. So I'm like, you can't really say, if it wasn't for the worst parts of your year, you had a great year. It's kind of, not realistic to say. But there is some hope that,
we call that flashing. We call that when a guy can flash. Will Warren at various points last year flashed.
He flashes of greatness. His stuff is disgusting, though. If the pitching ninja, the highlights he has of Will Warren, go look some of those up. The changeup looks like a screwball. The sweeper breaks like 100 feet.
I think he's got an issue with tipping pitches.
That's I need you to be a little bit careful talking about that because Luke Weaver was very upset about the pitch tipping thing at the end of the season. So you start throwing around pitch tipping.
A Mets pod, not a Mets pod. Change the topic.
Oh, I'm sorry. Luke Weaver's not a Yankee anymore. Thank God. Thank you, God.
In all
You know,
seriousness,
I was
he had some
I was a
nice
Weaver
things to say
guy.
about, yeah,
I was a
yeah.
Weaver guy for a while. He had a good
Nothing but love for
2024.
Luke Weaver. Hopefully, you make a name for yourself
Man,
over in
towards
Kings.
the end of last season, I was like, please God, don't put him in the game for the love of Christ, whatever you do. And they keep putting him in close games, close games, close games. I'm like, are you stupid? Especially when they're like, oh no, he's not hurt, he's not anything, and they're just pitch tipping. So if he has a tipping problem, why are you putting him in important games? Stupidest thing I've ever seen. But you know, hopefully he has success wherever the hell he is. I don't even remember.
Honestly, man, he just wasn't getting the life on the 2-seamer last year at the end. Wasn't getting the life on the 2-seamer.
I mean, good luck wherever he is.
He's going to be in Flushing.
Oh, there you go. So he's in the good part of New York, right?
Yeah, it's really nice there. If you love industry, yeah.
As a non-New Yorker, I can share my opinions on that, but we will do that later. Donnie says Gore's a lefty as well. He is, and you'd have a lot of lefties in that rotation if you added him. So that'd be interesting to see how they match that up in the postseason.
Chris, I'm out on Zach Gallen. What about you? What about you, Johnny? Are you out on Zach Gallen or are you in?
Is he still out there? No, he's on Cub, right? Or where did he go?
Did he get traded?
I forgot. I completely forgot.
Deadline last year?
I thought he signed or got moved or something, trade something. Where's he at now?
Where is he at now? I think he's still, I think he's still being floated. Still being floated. Yeah, sorry about this, guys. He is still being floated. I think the Cubs are linked to him, but nothing's happened yet.
So he's still a D-back?
Yeah.
Okay. Zach Gallen is still available. Or no, he's a free agent, right? We are not experts on Zach Gallen, I got to tell you.
So because I'm out, I haven't done any research on him because he was just so Zaddy Yankee U7T is saying back in Arizona, and he didn't get traded. Is he? I'm gonna go on Sport Track right now. Just get to the bottom of it.
I'm looking at his Sport Track. I don't. It doesn't really show anything. I don't know. I think he had a rough year.
Very rough.
He gets great stuff. He has great movement.
He
does a nice sinker.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a little bit too much of a project for what we're kind of looking for. I mean, we have once our rotation is fully healthy. I mean, there's no room to add anyone in that rotation. Cole, Rodon, Fried, Schlittler, and then whoever's the 5, Heel, Warren, or Weathers. We got a lot of options there. So I don't know. Maybe
of options. He declined the qualifying offer for the Diamondbacks. He's a free agent, unrestricted, and he was linked to the Cubs, but nothing's happened yet. Nothing doing.
He'll probably be pretty expensive though, right? What's it going to cost?
Probably starters generally are, but relative to other starters, I think you get him pretty cheap. I think you probably get him on a 1-year deal with a team option.
Matt Blake would have a field day with his stuff though. That would be crazy to see.
Yeah. I just think you have that you have a better version of that in Weathers, right?
Yeah,
younger, harder throwing version.
Gallen has been, in the past he's been, very elite, but
he's a guy I think we overrate. You're right, he has been elite in the past, not for long stretches recently. Yeah. But I think he's a guy Yankee fans tend to overrate because he's been so effective against us at times.
Yeah. That's a great point.
Yeah.
That is
I know I do. I've been in on Zach Gallen in the past. I'm not, and if it happened, I could talk myself into it. I just think that he's one of those guys. And maybe you could say he plays well at Yankee Stadium for whatever reason.
He's one of those Yankee Stadium risers.
Yeah, can't have too much pitching for the right price. I could be thrilled about it, but I don't have him circled right now.
He just throws that disappearing changeup that fades down and into a right-hander. You start at the knees, and that thing is just gone before the time you swing at it. So it's very appealing to watch him pitch with that thing. It's like trying to hit a butterfly. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But, the rest of his numbers were not good. So I don't know. I don't think the Yankees will pay the money that it takes to get him. I think their rotation and their pitching depth is kind of where they don't need to add more. So I don't know. Interesting topic. But let me get some comments real quick. Ravon says excited for Cam this year. Me too. It's going to be awesome. Zaddy Yankee says the Yankees and Mets are probably now the favorites in each of their leagues.
Did the Dodgers blow up? Did someone?
You mean in their divisions?
Did someone unalive the Dodgers with a nuclear bomb? What happened?
Did the Dodgers get relegated to the Japanese league?
They're mid, dude. Dodgers are mid.
Oh, Mets says Zach Gallen. Oh, Zach Gallen. Chris also my guy Weave. He was my guy too, man. I had the jersey and he had great stuff. Don't get me wrong, but whatever happened at the end of last year, I was like, get this dude out of here. I'm tired of
He had
watching
an all-time walkout song,
yeah,
or warm-up song, and an all-time interview, all-time Yes Network interview by far.
Yeah, very spunky,
reliable,
kind of interesting personality he was.
Wiry.
Bucky Dent says this is the key to Toronto's success. I'm not sure what that was about. Zeta Yankee Weaver would have shut down Freeman, and this year would be 29. Would have shut down Freeman? Freddie Freeman? Okay, back in Arizona. Okay, I'm working through some old comments. Bernard Sasaki sucks. He does not beat around the bush.
I love Bernard. Bernard is one of my favorite presents in this chat.
He is the man.
Yeah.
Bucky Dent says, I've been listening to people talk about signing Gallon for weeks. That's crazy because I haven't seen anyone talk about Gallon until right now.
I've been in a little bit of hibernation from like being really locked in, and I've heard Gallon stuff in the past, but I just haven't been. That's why obviously we were just totally flapping in the wind.
Clue.
Had no idea what his status was even. That's why we're not.
You guys threw that Gallon fastball right by us. So
yeah,
good job by you. Zeta Yankee says best rotation in baseball this year. Market. Look, in the regular season, yes. October, if we face the Blue Jays again, they crush lefties, man. So I got to see what Cole looks like first to have a ton of confidence. Chris also said Schmidt will be back as well. That's true.
Clark Schmidt, don't
he's got good stuff.
Clark Schmidt, yeah.
Scooble is the only kind of pitcher worth adding. I mean, that's it's like saying Paul Skeens is the only pitcher worth adding as well. It's I don't think that's very realistic, but it'll be fun to talk about come trade deadline time, right? He'll be a free agent next year.
Yeah, I just really hope he doesn't end up on the Blue Jays or Red Sox. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah.
But he's currently in the AL. So like technically he's still he's in the AL.
It's just crazy how far apart Scooble and the Tigers are on that contract. It's
on
so
principle,
crazy.
I'd low-key rather have him stay with Detroit long term, which would not happen, than go to the Dodgers. Like on principle. Even though it would be getting him out of our division, or sorry, out of our league. It just still would be so depressing if the Dodgers got Scooble.
Can you imagine?
Dude, what are we doing?
You just don't show up if that happens. Like, come on, man. That
cancel the season.
And it's not even outside the realm of possibility. It's very possible they might be able to do that, and they might do it. Three straight titles going to a lockout would set the lockout on fire. Holy shit, that would be crazy.
Yeah.
All right, Ravon, good to have you in here, man. Thanks for coming. In here, Chris says, I'm low-key excited for Elmer Cruz, ERC, right? Yeah, his stuff. I really like his stuff. He's got great breaking ball, great changeup, good fastball. He attacks hitters. He doesn't beat around the strike zone. He'll be really fun to watch if he gets called up. Hopefully he doesn't get moved, but depends what's out there. Zeta Yankee says he would wind up on the Dodgers before the Jays or Sox. True. They might go get him after the Mets got Peralta. Mets not worth correcting. Okay. The Scooble front has been quiet for a little while, so I don't think that's happening.
We should turn our accounts into like Jeff Passan type accounts, and just this will be our sources.
From our chat.
Heard a rumor from a veritable source. Scooble to the Yankees.
Scooble to anyone but the Yankees is what I believe.
It could happen.
We'd have to give up like
Schlittler and Spencer Jones might get it done.
We'd have to give up like 1 through 25 in our top prospect lists, and then it still might not be enough.
Yeah, it would be.
Oh, Framber! I forgot Framber's floating around to the point where what's his face on Hot Stove Curry had to say the Yankees are not interested in Framber. Like that was floating around a little bit.
Yeah, I don't like Framber.
Did you see what he did that rookie catcher when he hit him?
I'm out.
Holy
not in my clubhouse.
Shit.
Not to be crazy. If he was like amazing, I'd be like, oh, whatever. Like, who cares? Like, get him in here. But like, he's not amazing. He's pretty good, and he's a piece of shit human. So
that was one of the most not only disrespectful, but that's dangerous.
You just don't want that on your team.
To have a breaking ball called
Yeah.
And you throw a heater right down the middle of this dude's fucking chest.
You're a scumbag. Yeah.
Oh my God. Someone should have jumped out and beat the fuck out of him on the mound itself.
And they still had his back. They still had his back in the press after. I mean, it's like if a motorcycle cuts you off and you like try to veer into a motorcycle's way to show him a lesson. It's like you're gonna kill that guy.
Dude, I mean, what if something, I don't know, we're just speculating here. What if something crazy happened? You hit him in the chest the right way and something happens, like a 90-something mile an hour fastball right down the middle when you're not expecting it.
Framber would fit really well as a Met or a Red Sox. I could see that for sure.
I mean, if the Mets do need to add more starting pitching, I could see them saying, hey, look, stop being a piece of shit, or we're going to send Juan Soto after you, pal.
At least it's on the field. It's still on the field issues, on off the field issues.
There was a report that in the Astros clubhouse, though, after Framber did that, the teammates were pissed at him for obvious reasons. Someone grabbed him by the shirt and threw him up against the wall, and they went crazy at him. I hope it happened.
I hope it was Yordan Alvarez who did that.
I don't know. I don't know who, but they should have beat the ever-living shit out of him for that. That was one of the most disrespectful, dangerous things I've ever seen. The catcher should have grabbed the ball and spiked it right into his fucking shins. Said, do that shit again, and I'm going to beat the shit out of you with his bat.
Manager should have pulled him right away.
And Volpe was standing there, looking around like, what the hell just happened? He's like so innocent and like nice and shit. Oh, it's so funny, but crazy. All right, well, we are just about ready to wrap this thing up. Got into a lot of topics today. Getting into the lineup, Bellinger, Grisham, Weathers, getting into the bullpen rotation. Last but not least, we'll save a full season preview maybe before the regular season starts. But as the team is constructed right now, if they didn't add a single new player between now and October, where do you think this team is in the hierarchy of the AL East and the American League?
Top 2.
Okay.
American League, top 2. AL East, top 2. And we got to let them play the games. You know? I think I can give you a better range. I think we range from from an 89 win team to a 102 win team. It's a pretty wide range.
That is pretty wide range.
We're going to fall in the middle of that somewhere. So
yeah.
How it all shakes out is going to come down to, I think the most important thing is how many of the 13 games or 13 or so games we play against the Red Sox, Toronto, Tampa, and Baltimore, how many of those can we win? With those games have gotten so important in the series because we're such a competitive division. We tend to all beat up on non-division opponents, and we can't have the performances we had this year against Boston and Toronto again. So 100%. Yeah, it's fun to kind of project it out and say I'm interested to hear your answer for projecting wins and where we're going to finish up, Johnny. But for me, I gave you my answer. What I'm way more interested in is whether we can lock in 8 to 10 wins against those major, those big matchups in our division.
100%. No, I think that's very realistic. I think I'd say 94 wins. I think probably close to what they had last year, which is crazy. But I think, last year we didn't have Cole. This year we'll have him back. But I think those first 2 months are going to be so critical to where they eventually end up.
Full year of Schlittler, full year of Ben Rice.
Full year of Bednar as the closer.
That's true. Yeah, we're better than we were last year to start the season.
Yeah, Devin Williams, cost them a lot of games last year that, if Devin Williams closes 5 of those games, they're 100 win, close to a 100 win team.
Saying we're running it back, while on paper it might seem fair, is a very casual take. We're not running it back. We're an improved team with a lot of positive signs of upward regression for sure.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of we're running back the team that lost in ALDS, which we are.
I wanted Peralta, I wanted Edwin Diaz, I wanted all these guys, but we are a better team. To be honest about it. Both things can be true. We could be disappointed in parts of the offseason and still admit we have made improvements. We have a better outlook than we started. We do.
100%. And I think the closer position being solidified and not being unpredictable and unreliable is a big thing too, because between a 1 and 3 run game late into the ninth, I think Bednar's going to be one of those guys who can have 35, 40 saves this year with this team. Just looking really quick into the first 2 months before we get Cole and Rodon back, we've got Seattle, we've got Boston, Houston, Baltimore a couple times, the Mets, Toronto, and those are some of the big ones. Oh, and Milwaukee, who was a playoff team last year. So,
Don't forget
it's
about SF. Opening
San
day.
Francisco to open the year. So
still going to be there, right?
Yeah, we will be there. So there's going to be some times where this middle relief might get exposed. This rotation might get exposed for being a little shallow. Warren, Heel, Weathers, we don't know what we're going to get out of them. First 2 months will be crucial. I think we win somewhere in the mid 90s in terms of games. I think we'll be about third in the hierarchy of the AL. I think the Mariners and the Blue Jays. I don't want to call them the cream of the crop because we finished with almost identical records last year, except for the head-to-head. But I think when you match up playoff wise, I think the Blue Jays lineup still gives our rotation a little bit of problems because we are very lefty heavy, and Cole, kind of a toss up there. And they were in the World Series and they almost beat the Dodgers, who we got gentlemen swept by. So I think we got to give them a little bit of credit there. And I think they did add some really good pieces. So, our head-to-head games against Toronto in the regular season are going to be must-win baseball games. Every single one of them. You can't punt any of those games. You got to win those. So, but I think winning the mid 90s, being the third best team in the AL and going into the postseason as that will have us in great shape to potentially make a run. So, I think it's very exciting. As currently constructed, I think it's still a good team. And yeah, we'll see. Hopefully we can add some bullpen help. Hopefully maybe there's another bench bat coming in to make the lineup a little bit less left-handed heavy. There's still a few holes in this team. So we'll see if the Yankees stand pat and just run it with this, or if they want to patch some holes. But still got a little bit of time. Pitchers and catchers will report in about a month. And obviously in spring training, you can still sign players. So we have some time. But anyways, it was a great time with everybody in here. Great as always. Hosting with Connor. Going forward, we're going to be doing this together exclusively. So this is going to be we're going to do some rebranding here. We're going to rename it. We're going to throw a new logo up there. And you can expect to see us together every show going forward. So very exciting.
Making it official.
Yeah, we'll make it official here soon. It's going to be a good time. We're going to do this throughout the season. I don't know if we have a set schedule yet, but maybe once a week, once every 2 weeks, kind of recap what's going on, share some opinions of what's going on, stuff like that. But as always, we appreciate every one of you guys in the chat. We thank you for your engagement. It's been really fun. Go ahead and like this video if you were in here. Share with your friends and family, your cats, your dogs, your pet bird, your pet rabbit, and your pet Tyrannosaurus Rex. And we would appreciate that a ton. Subscribe to the channel as well. And for now, we will see you next time. All right. As always, go Yankees. Hopefully they make some more moves. We'll see. And we will maybe see you once more before the season starts. So, peace.
Go Yanks.